I'm about to reveal a secret to you, an ingredient that is missing from most of the success formulas out there today, which is why they don't work without this magic ingredient. Your dreams and goals fall flat no matter what they are or how long you've had them. But with this magic ingredient, you can accomplish anything and everything you want to, and it's called self-discipline. There are several disciplines that you need to develop if you want to achieve your full potential. So the first discipline of all is the discipline of clear thinking versus fuzzy thinking. You know, sometimes you've heard me ask, what is the highest paid work in America? What's the most important work in any job or any company? And the answer is thinking. The quality of your thinking determines the quality of your decisions and choices. Your decisions and choices determine the actions you take. The actions you take determine your results. Your results determine the quality of your life. And it all starts with your thinking clearly. A little story that was in the papers recently: Warren Buffett, who is one of the richest men in the world, and Bill Gates, who is the richest man in the world. And Bill Gates were at a dinner party, and the three of them are good friends, and they were talking, and a gentleman came up to them and said, I was looking at you, and you gentlemen are very successful. What would you say is the most important quality of success? And all three, according to a bystander, all three broke off their conversation and turned and simultaneously said, focus. Focus is the most important requirement for success in our fast-moving world today. If you can focus, you can succeed. And if you cannot, you cannot. I'm always amazed when I go down the street or fly or drive as people seem totally immersed in listening to things. They've got devices in their ears and stuff on their cell phone, and they're listening to music in their car, and they're watching television. They simply cannot stop bombarding their mind with sensory input. And of course, when you're doing that, it is impossible for you to think well. To think well requires that you practice a couple of techniques. Now, first of all, as Peter Drucker said, you need to take time to think. The rule is that fast decisions are usually wrong decisions. Especially fast decisions involving people or money are usually wrong decisions. So if you're going to make a decision that has long-term consequences, then you have to give it a lot of thought. You have to sort of look at it like a beautiful piece of porcelain. You look at it from every single side and think about it carefully, and the more carefully you think about a decision, the better the quality of that decision will be when you finally make it. How many times have you said, if I just thought about that a little bit more, I wouldn't have done it. Or if I just thought a bit better, or I'd just taken time to think. While superior people through experience and through painful experience learn to take their time in making important decisions. So one of the very best ways that you can develop the discipline of clear thinking is to sit in solitude for 30 to 60 minutes when you have a major problem or a major issue in your life. This is what happens for you in solitude. You'll start to go calm, and all the energy, all the fidgetness will disappear, and you'll just go calm. And it's almost like a bucket full of silty water. It'll sit there, and if you leave it sit there for a while, the water goes completely clear, and this is what happens to your mind. Your mind goes completely clear, and after the 30-minute point, what will happen is ideas will start to flow like a river, just start to flow through your mind, and you don't. This is non-directed. In other words, you don't think of this, or think of that problem, or think of that goal, and you just focus on your breathing. Just relax, look out into the horizon, look at the picture on the wall or a flower. Some people look at a candle, but just look at it. Keep your eyes open. This is not meditation. Just sit there quietly, and at a certain point, ideas will start to come, and almost like a boat in a gentle pond. The idea that you need to solve your biggest problem, or to achieve your most important goal, like a little just duck in your mind. And there it will be crystal clear, and it's the most amazing darn thing. If you've never done it before, the first time you do it, you'll get a result. You'll get an insight, an idea, a solution to a problem, an idea to solve a goal. The first time you do it will be absolutely marvelous. And the next time you do it, you'll get it again. And every time you sit quietly in solitude for 30 to 60 minutes, you'll get ideas that may save you years of hard work. Now, here's another way to think better. Take a sheet of paper. And the rule is think on paper and write down every detail. How it happened. What's going on. The problems, the concerns, the cost, who is involved. Just write it down. Write it down. Write it down. And the most amazing thing happens between the head and the hand as you're writing out all the details. Sometimes exactly the right choice pops out at you. It becomes clear. but you would not have triggered that superconscious solution. If you hadn't taken the time to think on paper, Aristotle once said that wisdom, which is the greatest of all human desires. Wisdom is the ability to make good decisions, is a combination of experience plus reflection. Experience plus reflection. In other words, you have an experience and then you reflect on the experience, and you think about, what does that experience mean to me? How can I use that? What can I learn from it? So reflecting on your experiences, and the best way to do that is to go for a walk. Just going for a walk where you can't listen to anything. Don't take an iPod or anything. Just go for a walk, 30 or 60 minutes, and just walk. And while you're talking and reflecting upon something that's going on at work or at home, you'll be amazed at the quality of ideas that will come into your mind. A good way to think better is to ask, especially if you're frustrated or having difficulties, to ask, what are my assumptions? What am I assuming about this situation that may not be correct? What if my basic assumptions about this relationship, about this job, about this product or service or this investment? What if my assumptions were wrong? Then what would I do? And here's the key to good thinking. Be open to doing something completely different. Be open to admitting the possibility that you could be wrong and doing something completely different. And what that does is it opens up your mind and your perspective, so you can see all kinds of possibilities that you may not have seen before. So, clear thinking is the first discipline, and it is the discipline practiced by the most successful, happiest, and wealthiest people in our society. Now, the second major discipline is the discipline of a daily goal setting. Write out your goals. All goals have to be in writing. By the way, if you don't have your goals in writing, then they're not really goals at all. They're merely wishes, and as they say, wish is merely a goal without any energy behind it. Have your goals in writing. Write them out very specifically and clearly, and then do this every single morning. Rewrite your major goals in the first person singular as though they already existed. And, for instance, if your goal is to earn $50,000 a year, every single morning, I earn $50,000 a year. If your goal is to weigh a certain number of pounds, if your goal is to enjoy a certain kind of life, write down your major goals in the first person singular as though they already existed today, every single morning, and then every single evening. Take about 5-10 minutes instead of watching television just before you turn on the television, and say, wait a second, I've got to review my progress, and sit down and review what you've done in the course of the day, and say, what have I done right today? What have I done right? That's moved me toward my goals. And second question is, what would I do differently if I had today to do over again? Those 4 steps, by the way, writing and rewriting your goal each morning, reviewing them in the evening, and asking yourself those 2 questions. What did I do right? What did I do that moved me toward my goals today? And what would I do differently if I had the day to live over? If you'll ask yourself those 2 questions in the next 30 days, you'll accomplish more than you accomplished in the last 6 months. Because every time you write your goals down, you're programming them into your subconscious mind. When you program them into your subconscious mind, you set up a field of vibration within your brain. And this law of attraction, based on this field of vibration, attracts into your life people and circumstances that harmonize with your dominant thoughts. Everybody here has had the experience of starting to read about a subject. Think about a subject, become interested in a subject, and suddenly you started to attract into your life books, magazines, articles, conversations, people, opportunities to expand on that subject. You had that experience before. What you do is you create a force field which we cannot explain scientifically, but it is a field of vibration that goes out from you and attracts back in your life. Everything that you need to realize your dominant goals, I promise to you, is this. If you will do this for 1 month, actually, 21 days is good enough, your whole life will change. You'll see changes that are astonishing. People come up to me at every single seminar and say it was incredible. I started to write my goals every day. I accomplished 8 of them. In 6 months, I accomplished 5 in a week. I accomplished most of them within 12 months. It's transformed my life. So all I ask you to do, if you're not already doing it, is give it a try. Now, the third discipline is the discipline of courage. Courage means that you have the ability, you have the willingness to confront your fears. Because what I found over the years is that brave people, courageous people, are not people who are not afraid. They are simply people who master their fears. They are simply people who face their fears, confront their fears. And Mark Twain said it many years ago. He said with regard to fear, he said, do the thing you fear and the death of fear is certain. Now, fear and courage tend to be habits that if you are afraid, and you give in to the fear, and you back away, it becomes a habit to back away whenever you're afraid or unsure if you're afraid, and you force yourself to confront the fear. It becomes a habit to confront the fear. Whenever you find something that you're afraid of, and you'll find that most fears disappear when you confront them. And most fears, fears of failure, fears of rejection, fears of loss, fears of pain, fears of limitation, fears of the loss of a relationship, fears of ill help. Most of these fears disappear when you confront them head-on. So the reason you want to confront your fears is not because of the incident specifically, it's because of what it does for your character. You want to demonstrate to yourself that you can face down a fear and look it square in the eye, and suddenly surprise, it goes away and you realize that the fear was in your own mind. So here's an exercise for you: identify one fear situation in your life today and use that as your challenge. Use that as your test case. You say, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to face this fear down. I'm going to hammer it. I'm going to smash it. I'm going to look it right in the eye. I'm going to deal with it direct head on like a car hitting a wall until the fear is gone. And once you've done that, you'll look up and you'll be a different person for the rest of your life. You'll know that nothing that you're afraid of can stop you. The fourth discipline is the discipline of daily time management. The rule is that every minute spent in planning saves 10 minutes in execution. So disciplining yourself to plan your day thoroughly before you begin will save you at least 10 minutes for every minute you spend in planning. And according to the research, it will increase your productivity by 25 to 50%. Maybe even double your productivity for every day that you plan. Begin the discipline of daily time management by making a list. Start off with a sheet of paper again. Click on paper and write down everything you have to do in the course of the day. The very best time to make this list is the night before. If you do this, then your subconscious mind works on your plan all night long, and you often wake up in the morning with great ideas to implement your plan. Then you organize your list by priority before you begin. You don't just jump into it. Use the 80-20 rule that says that 20% of the items on your list will account for 80% of the value, which are the most valuable. This is the hardest of all disciplines to learn. It's the essence of my teaching worldwide. It is the key to supercharging the quality of your life and your results. If you can start every morning with a list organized by priority, and start on your number one task and stay with it till it's done, you will supercharge your life. You will release endorphins in your brain that it causes you to feel great. You will motivate yourself and energize yourself and propel yourself into all your other tasks. You will get twice as much done on any day where you start and complete your major task. First thing than on any other day, the discipline of time management will then spread to all your other disciplines. When you can demonstrate each morning that you have the self-control, self-mastery, self-discipline to start and complete your most important task, you just feel fabulous about yourself. Now, the fifth discipline is the discipline of regular saving and investing. One of the smartest things that you can ever do for yourself is to develop the habit of saving part of your salary. Every single paycheck, individuals, families, and even societies are stable and prosperous to the degree to which they save money. Savings today are what guarantee the security and the possibilities of tomorrow. The first corollary of the law of saving and becoming a money-saving expert comes from the book, The Richest Man in Babylon by George Clason. It is to pay yourself first. Begin today to save 10% of your earnings off the top and never touch it. This is your fund for long-term financial accumulation, and you'd never use it for any other reason except to assure your financial future. The remarkable thing is that when you pay yourself first and force yourself to live on the other 90%, you actually promote frugal living. You will soon become accustomed to living on 90% without any loss of convenience or anything else. Remember, you are a creature of habit. When you regularly put away 10% of your earnings, you soon become comfortable living on the other 90%. Many people start by saving 10% of their income and then graduate to saving 15%, 20%, and even more. And their financial lives change dramatically as a result, and so will yours. Now here's an interesting point, and I learned this from one of the smartest money managers I ever met. He said, when we're young, we associate money with pleasure. We get our first allowance and we go and we spend it on candy, and we think that when we have money, we go and we spend it on candy or things that make us feel good. Now when we become adults, whenever we think of getting a lot of money, our first thought is spending it on something that makes us happy. If you go to a tourist resort where people are on vacation and having a good time, they're just lying street after street after street of knickknacks and gadgets and junk because people, when they're happy, associate going out and buying stuff. However, what this does is it keeps you broke all your life. So what you do, and this is what he told me, is you rewire yourself. You kind of pull out one wire and plug it in. And you say, instead of saying I like spending money, you say I like saving money. And you begin to think of how much you enjoy having money in the bank, how much you enjoy saving, how much you enjoy delayed gratification, how much you enjoy the idea of moving toward financial independence. And when you develop the habit of being happy about saving money, you start to find yourself more and more careful with your expenditures. Soon you develop the habit of living on less than you earn, and you change your thinking from I enjoy spending to I enjoy saving. There's a Japanese proverb that says making money is like digging in the sand with a pin. Losing money is like pouring water on the sand. It's easy to lose money, but it's hard to make it and keep it. And it's the most important discipline of all. Another discipline is to pay cash as often as possible, and for as much as possible, get rid of all your credit cards, except for one, and only use that one when you have to. The very act of paying cash really hypersensitizes you to how much it's costing and causes you to spend less money. W. Clement Stone once said, if you cannot save money, the seeds of greatness are not in you. The primary reason why you save your money and accumulate it carefully is because it gives you two things. First of all, it gives you freedom. You know you've got money in the bank. If you don't like your job, you can walk away from it because you've got money in the bank. But the second thing it gives you is opportunity. If an opportunity comes along, you're prepared to take advantage of it. You don't have to say, I'm sorry, I don't have any money. I can't afford it. I'm broke, and people just shake their head in pity and walk away. As an adult, you should always have opportunity, money put aside. And when you have it, you feel great about yourself. The difference between a person with a little money and a person with no money is night and day. A person with a little money feels great. A person with no money always feels inferior, anxious, worried, concerned, irritable, short-tempered. Now the sixth discipline is the discipline of continuous learning. What takes you from rags to riches is personal development in the 21st century. As Peter Drucker says, knowledge and skill are the keys to the 21st century. And the only thing that will be relevant, the only skill that will be relevant in the 21st century is the ability to learn new skills, because virtually everything you know is becoming obsolete at a rapid rate. Stephen Covey says that your current knowledge base has a half-life of 2 years, which means that half of everything you know will be irrelevant within 2 years. And 2 years from now, half more. So if you're not continually learning and upgrading your knowledge and skills, you're not staying in the same place. As Pat Riley says, the basketball coach says, if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. If you're not constantly learning, you're actually falling behind. So here are the 3 keys to continuous learning. Number 1 is read in your field 30 to 60 minutes each day. In other words, turn off the television, turn off the radio, put aside the newspaper, and just read in your field. The very best places to read, by the way, are books, read books, the best-selling books written by the most successful people in your field. Because books contain a wealth of riches that can enable you to function at a far higher level, to get much better results than you could before. Countless people over the years that reading an hour a day has doubled and tripled their income within a year. The second thing you do is take every course that you possibly can. The courses and seminars that are available to you in your field that are given by professionals, that are courses that have been developed over years and years and years. They have been tested and tested and tested. The person who is talking to you for several hours has spent thousands of hours learning their subject. They have tested this or test runs with thousands of other people. When you take the course, you can learn enough information in 1 or 2 days more than you could learn in 2 or 3 years, or maybe even a lifetime. All distilled and put together. People say, I can't afford a course. You cannot afford not to buy books. You cannot afford not to go to courses. The third way that you can upgrade your skills is listen to audio programs in your car. Here's an interesting point. The more you commit yourself to becoming the best person you can be, the more you like yourself and respect yourself, the more energy you have, the bigger goals you set for yourself, the more you persist. When you invest in yourself and you read and learn and upgrade your skills, you're telling yourself, wow, I am a person with a great future, and it's up to me to maximize my potential, and your self-esteem goes up. Your self-respect goes up, your sense of personal pride goes up, and you start to get promoted more and paid more in every part of your life. Now the seventh discipline is the discipline of hard work. There's nothing that will help you more than for you to develop a reputation as a hard worker in the studies of self-made millionaires. Again, they said I didn't have better education, better talent, better knowledge, but I was willing to work harder than anyone else. Most self-made millionaires work 60 and 70 hours per week for 5, 10, 15 years before they break through. Most other people are trying to get by on 5 days a week, and then during those 5 days a week, they don't work very hard at all. The interesting thing, Thomas Jefferson once said, "Do you believe in luck?" He was asked, he said, "Yes," he said, "I believe in luck." He said, "And the harder I work, the more that I have." So the harder you work, the luckier you get. The harder you work, the more opportunities you have. The more doors open up to you. The more opportunities you see. There's a thing sweeping America today about having fun at work. No, work is not fun time. Work is not the playpen or the sandbox. Work is not school. Work is work. What you do is you go to work, and you work all the time. Don't worry about fun. Have your fun later knowing that you've done a fantastic job and you've gotten a lot done, and finally work 1 hour later. Be the last one to leave. Be the person who turns off the lights. Interesting. If you look at an entrepreneurial startup, a business that's being run by somebody who's really driving it forward, you'll find that the business owner is usually the first one there, works through the whole day. Usually the last one to leave. Business owner usually works on Saturday and Sunday. At the end of the day, the business owner has got a beautiful home house on the hill, beautiful cars, beautiful life, vacations, a boat in the yacht basin, and everybody says, "Boy, she is sure lucky." No, they're not lucky. They just worked all the time. They worked. If you work 3 extra hours, start earlier, work harder, stay later, you'll add 6 hours of productive work to your day. Every hour of uninterrupted work when nobody's there translates into 3 hours of productivity when there's people around interrupting you. So keep asking at work, what is the most valuable use of my time right now? What is the most valuable use of my time right now? And then do only that.